Hello everyone, welcome to the Advancement Centre and welcome to the world of magic and miracles. I think we're all in a position where we're stepping off the edge of the big building into nowhere without any supports, without any handrails and nothing to actually step onto. That's a great feeling if you sit back and see yourself doing it. And in fact, you don't sink anywhere, you don't tip over, you're perfectly balanced, and you're actually in the world of magic and miracles. The immediate feeling of security comes with a buzz, and it's nothing like keeping yourself grounded. You're elevated in every sense of the word. And that platform of living, that elevated platform of living that we all know about now, is about to take you on a ride. It's about to take you to a whole new, not just a world, a whole new set of circumstances, a whole new way of living. It's about to not just elevate or remain flat, it'll turn upside down, it'll do everything that's impossible. And you'll still be totally stable and totally easily led by nothing except yourself. The sudden awareness of the signals that you have that have never been listed in any of our conversations, in any talks, in any science, and now your best friend. That connection, or millions of connections that were forgotten about, are the very channels that connect you to your origin. Every person's origin is different. The way to get there is different, and the way you're connected is different. In this new adventure, there is really nothing that I can talk about except let's take it on. Let's move forward into the vast unknown that is so interesting that we can't get enough of it. To even explain how we used to be is a waste of good juice, you know. We've got the elements of the universe at our fingertips here on Earth. And we can step in and out of our own bubble anytime we like and feel secure in what we're doing and know that we're connected to everything, but that everything we don't know about. There's more mystery in our world than we ever thought there was. More unknowns than knowns. Like billions more unknowns than known. And in that, there's excitement, because we're about to explore things like a young child. No idea of any rules, no idea of any danger, no idea of whether we're going to fall or stand or jump or whatever. But total awareness that everything we do will be correct. That sense of perfection is what comes from your origin and what is inherent in every person. And with that precise knowing that everything is perfect, no matter what you do, it's really hard work to make a mistake. Like, you'd have to figure out what you're doing first to even call it a mistake. and seeing that it's never going to happen again, how can it be a mistake? Logic is just about to go out the window. All sense of mathematical sequences is already gone. Because even the best of technology, the best of computers, cannot track the human entity. Our communication system is so fast and so silent and so effective, we really don't even need telephones. And it won't be long before the only thing we use the telephone for is to find out what everybody else is doing. We'll never ever have to use it to find out what we're doing. The pictures that come to you in the world that you're in are determined by all the circumstances around you. If you change the circumstances around you, all the pictures change. It's the opposite to what you think. You've only got to change the picture, not in your brain, in real terms. Just change it. All the circumstances change because they're all connected together. So when you see a picture that doesn't suit you, just change it. And it doesn't matter if you don't even have to look in a different direction. Wherever you see anything, it's changeable. Even if you're looking at a plant. You blink your eyes and it doesn't look the same. Everything is so dynamic that you can change it in an instant without destroying anything and without disturbing its presence. So when we're looking at the magic and the miracles around us, you've got to see that it comes from you. You're the magic. So just like a flashlight, you want to change where the beam is going, you hold the flashlight and you move the flashlight. You can't grab the beam. You're the origin of the magic. You change it, it changes. And then the mix in the world changes. Just like the mix for a cake. You change one ingredient, you've changed the whole taste. So your effect on the world is right there in your hands without you looking to do anything. It's within the magic that produces the miracle of life. The one that you think you're following, but in fact, it's the one you're leading. So when people talk about leading a life of such and such, you are leading it. The only thing you follow is your own spirit, which is as crazy as every one of us. It goes where it likes, does what it likes, and doesn't even care if there's a brick wall. It has no sense of limitation, and nor does it care. And if it needs a miracle, it's done. So there, right in your own being, you have the source of everything. And no matter how many times we say it in words, it's useless until you feel it. And we're feeling it because we stepped off a building, remember? Into nowhere. And we're still standing in the middle of nowhere. And that part of us is still there and active. Still having the time of its life without any need for anything but itself. Our next step is to actually move that part of us away from the building, further into the middle of nowhere, so we can then turn around and look back at the building. And it's so easy. You do that in a fraction of a second because you're in that part of your own dimensional shift, which is a parallel realm, where you can actually exist and test everything, where you can feel yourself flying and you can feel what it's like, and you never crash to the ground. There is a reason for us to have that. It doesn't have consequence because we are working towards the same thing in our life. To have a world that doesn't have crazy consequences. So we can go and do anything and find ourselves upside down looking at something and then right ourselves and say, well, that's the way we're supposed to be on this occasion. And it's as simple as that. I talk from experience, just like you all talk from experience. And I don't try to tell you your experience. I suggest it so that you find it for yourself. I amplify your ability to connect into your own world. And never is there any need to even take any notice of me. You're taking notice of your own world, your own situation, and actually your own set of inputs and outputs into your own personal supercomputer that can do things that you've never known about. It's continually operating and continually looking after you, but it can do 1,000,000 times that and more, and has done for various people at various times. So our purpose in advancing is not to catch up to the personal supercomputer, but to be aware that it's there and give it the freedom to do what it does. Don't try to control it, don't try to use it. Give it the freedom. And then comes the program of simplicity. The simplest of instruction is all that's needed. Even a brief thought, oh, that's nice, is enough to enhance everything about whatever you're looking at. The slightest inflection, supercomputer gets in there and does it all. Picks up everything in your life, reshuffles it, puts it in the right places, makes sure it's not sitting on top of anybody else, makes sure that every channel you need is free and without restriction, and then just sits back and smiles at you. And everything you expected happens better than you could possibly expect. And it doesn't even happen the same. And it might not be at the same time. It might be the next day. It might be right now before you can even figure it out. There's the beauty of your talent now to be able to decipher without logic anything I say in any sequence at all. And it's all sitting in the correct place within your being, within your system, so that it's quite comfortable and you can know it all and read it all because you're only reading your own world. I can talk about anything at all, and you'll have that experience already. Not locked away, but it's floating around you, and you go, oh, that again. Oh, right. Just like finding another fairy. Oh, hello. Everything is there in your life, but it's flitting around, showing its face, disappearing, playing games with you, making life really interesting, And now it's suggesting that you throw away the sequential model that you've always had that really stops you working properly. The random access to everything is what computers have been trying to do since their first conception. Humans do it easily, and they walk around telling one another, oh, you've got to get your life in order. You've got to get this sequence going. You've got to do it this way. You've got to do that, then that, then that, then that. And your whole being says, wow, how does a computer work? It works on random access. And goes and looks for things that it's interested in because it learnt from us. And we do it so fast, so easily, and so happily. Do it any other way, you feel sad. So logic and sequence only happens in a person when they stop their engine. So you are not active when you are working through logic. You've actually shut down. But the second I say, well, let's go and stand in midair again, you go, boom, you're back on. All the energy's going, the mechanism's flying around everywhere. You're picking up everything from all over, from every different angle, every different place, and you don't care where it's stored. If you need it, it's there. And it's continually popping up stuff that you don't even get time to put in your brain. And that's what keeps you alive. That's the music in everyone's being that just sparkles and goes wild. And the second your system goes wild, you can say, I've done it. I'm alive again. I'm relaxed, but I'm really, really alive. Everything's going at a massive rate, and I feel no pressure. I feel a lightness, and I don't really care about anything because it's going too fast. I don't plan anything because it's all coming up out of sequence anyway. And it's taken us a long time to get to the point of saying, you know, you've just started again. You've just walked away from the whole system of how you used to live. You just left it behind. And you did it by just turning your own being on. And it's suddenly alive, suddenly able to stand in midair, suddenly able to do whatever it wants. And nobody ever thought that it would be possible. Because you can only think when your system's turned off. You actually unplug all those special inputs and outputs and start building things out of them called thought patterns. And so your own operating system gets all tangled up with the crazy projects that you make. And you get no input or output from your system in the world. And all you've got to do in 1 second is go, I think I'll jump off the building again. And you'll start to laugh. Boom, everything goes back in order. Everything gets plugged back into the right place. And you say, this is better than sitting in the chair thinking, I'll just jump off another building. I'll go and visit a star. I'll go and play with all these friends around me. Talk to a fairy. Not one of those ones that we talk about, but a special fairy. One that just looks like a human being and stands in front of you half your life. And it's got the same features as you. and talks back. Sometimes abuses you. Sometimes tells you you're absolutely off the planet. But still entertains you. Because it's another part of you that looks from another realm. So while we're on that, you remember I talked about your own personal bubble and how you can step out of it or in it or whatever, and it'll just support you and nothing. It's not protection, it's just yours. Once you step outside that and you look back in, you're still there. You can actually look at yourself in the bubble. And it's an interesting way of jumping from the person that you're normally talking to and actually being that person. And you'll talk back to yourself. Because that's the element of you as your origin that has the full data of everything that you need to live here on Earth. And you can activate both at the same time, anytime you want. And that's the same thing that happens to you when you're in your own presence, in the silence, or sitting at the beach, or talking to the mirror. You're actually connecting the other part of yourself in conversation. And quite often there'll be a difference because one will be not going so well and the other one's going really well all the time. And one will fix the other. But now you know that there are a minimum of two distinct beings that are interacting in your life all the time. You may as well use it. So if you want to look at what things are like, you just jump to the other person, maintain both as active beings, and you've got two sets of eyes, two sets of circumstances, two sets of possibilities, and a heap more to play with. And remember, this is not something you make up. It's always been with you. You just never realized that there's more to you than what you actually show. There's more and more and more that we'll come up with, that will show you. But it's really important to know that when I say you're everywhere, it's true for both beings. And so what's the interaction you can come up with now? Why do you have to figure something out when it's already done? Why do you have to work through things when you've got a part of you that's already looking at it? And this is why a child can answer a question and you say, how could they possibly know that? Because they just do. But it's not the child that's talking that knows it. It's the other part of the being that resides in another totally different set of realms that we'll get to as we explore. The whole purpose of talking today is to actually get everybody running off their own battery. Everybody being able to access whatever they want and being able to look from wherever they want and not follow anyone. Your origin has everything. You're connected to it. And now that you know that you can advance both parts of your being, not to be the one level, but to advance past where they are, you're actually taking the part of you that doesn't reside here and pushing it forward as well. And that's not a bad thing to do. You thought you had to make them catch up to one another. No, they're both hooked together. It's like trying to make the front of your car go faster than the back of your car. It's hooked together. They're in different positions, but they're hooked together. So all these different parts of your being that we will let you explore are actually the source of everything you're looking for. Because there's never anything on this earth that will satisfy you. It has to be both. One of the most important steps for today, for me, was to actually pull back a little bit from attempting to guide anyone, so that I can help enhance all the special inputs and outputs that you all have, so that you can use them without even looking up at directions, without having to have a how do I do it, use a manual, because you already know exactly what to do as soon as it comes to you, whatever that may be. And you're not looking for one thing, you're looking for everything to keep coming to you and to know at the exact time you need to know exactly what to do, and then forget it. Because that experience doesn't have to be retained. It will be improved on every time. That's the guarantee of life. Everything is improved on every time. And now, if we just go and jump off that building again and know that we didn't go anywhere, and start walking around in midair and turning around and looking at ourselves, and then deciding what would happen if you did fall, you can't. There is no facility for you to fall. You can try and it won't work. You can try to fall over, it doesn't work, because this is the other being that will show you how to experience all that here in the physical plane. So we're going to have a bit of a break soon, and what I'd like to do is just leave you with a couple of things. Firstly, all that energy that you feel is yours. And secondly, anything I put towards you just makes you feel alive. So stay alive, stay fired up, and a little bit of sparkle to keep you going for the 5-minute break. We'll be back soon. Thank you. So welcome back. Hope you enjoyed floating around in nowhere. It's a bit of fun, but it's also very real to have it in your life. Yeah, I walk around and I'm in so many different places. I start to smile and everyone looks at me. Is there something wrong with you? And I think they're asking questions about something that I don't have to answer, so I just smile. They go, oh, okay. The transmission in your smile is actually more than just what you see. It's the opening of your experience to other people. It actually opens the field so that they can feel the energy of it, even if you're on the other side of the street. So in your interaction with people, understand the intensity that you have to put in to not affect somebody. You're affecting them all the time. And if you want to actually disturb someone, you have to put a lot of effort in. Because the natural thing is that nobody's disturbed by anyone. They're made feel energized. And if you're energized and your motor's running, like because you can see yourself standing in midair, well then everybody's okay. There are no discomforts. There is nothing that you can do or say that's better than a smile. Even if you're not looking at someone, that sense of activity, of chasing your crazy spirit around everywhere, of interacting with all the beings that are around you and the beings that are around other people, watching the movement of people and laughing because you can see their best invisible friend playing jokes on them. You even laugh sometimes when you see someone limping because you can see what's causing it. But you don't have to pass that on anymore. We don't have to reveal anything to anybody because we're an open book. And because we can see, they can see. So the more you see, the more amused you are, the better off they'll feel. So in everything, the operation of your own being in that sparkly, excited form will produce everything for everyone. So when somebody says, well, are you doing this for somebody else? Are you going out of your road to provide something for somebody because that's the right thing to do? You say, I provide everything for everyone. I don't do anything else. There's no answer, because that's true. Each one of us. Only thing we do in life is provide for everyone else. Except if we stop our engine and start providing for logic, for the things that somebody's already painted up on our whiteboard as the list of life that you don't need, by the way. You don't need any of those things because life is life and it has no sequence. And if you just take any one day and try to follow the sequence, you've only got the sequence of what you captured. And the second you say, but did I capture what was in the other room? Did I capture what was happening down State Street? Did I happen to capture what was happening at the fire station? Answer is no, because life is a sequence that allows you to access a small part of it at any time. But if you expand your being and happen to be the person that has an origin outside this world, you can experience it all. But you don't need the sequential detail. You don't need to store it because it's ongoing and it's moving. And it's like the leaves of a tree, moving all over the place. If you capture one sequence, you watch it once, and you watch it again, and you watch it again, and you go, oh, seen that. The world does not do anything the same twice. We don't do anything the same twice, and we don't have the patience for doing the same thing twice. Even if you're washing the dishes, you never do it at the same time. You never do it the same way. It's always a difference. Every movement, always a difference. It may look similar, but there's always a difference. So we're not creatures of habit. We find ourselves in habit mode, we've turned off our engine. It's as simple as that. And I just gave you a really simple way to start your engine again. Just step off the top of the building. You go, woo, and it's going straight away. You don't have to do anything drastic. You just have to find anything that starts your engine. And then allow it to generate whatever it wants to. Sparkles, electricity, whatever. You can walk around zapping people if you want to. And it happens to us from time to time. But we find that socially a little bit out of order, because each time our electricity goes wild, it actually sends everybody's electricity wild. And all the stuff we rely on, like the lights and the car and all those things that have got electric stuff in it, they stop. Sometimes that will happen to you, and you don't have to do anything about it. Just have a good laugh and go and step off the top of another building, because then everything will start in earnest. The little thing that I talk about with your the young part of your life when you're at school, where you daydream, where you leave school, but you're still sitting there. They're the times I think you can relate to the best, where you were actually at the beach and you were sitting in the class at the same time. And when you're brought back to the class, it's a shock. You actually feel yourself go woof, back into the body. That is a natural part of our makeup. And it's both physical and multidimensional. It leaves a lasting impression, the beach, and the friends or whatever you meet when you're there, or you go swimming with dolphins or whatever. And that lasting impression is real, because it's more than a dream. It's not a daydream. You are demonstrating your skill at being multidimensional. And in that dimension, you instantly travel to where you need to go. You instantly appear there. And you instantly enjoy the sensation. So turn that back on again. Your engine will start straight away. You'll smile. You'll be where nobody thinks you can be, doing what nobody would allow you to do, and you're there. And life becomes perfect because you've fulfilled the bit that's been shut down. Voluntarily shut down, so only a person can shut their own down. So now that you know it's all your control, you can blame somebody, but they can't switch it on and off. You can, anytime you want. So come up with a little gimmick of stepping off the building in midair, no handrails, no nothing, and I didn't fall. And all of a sudden, you have access to a major part of your world that was always yours. And you can feel the energies, they just start by themselves. And they feed your physical being. And that's why it's so important to find what's happy in that world. You don't have to find it by running around, jumping on a bus, going somewhere. You just go there. And bingo, you're happy straight away. And you can turn your happy switch on. You've got all systems go, all lights are flashing and sparkles going everywhere. And you're walking along the street and everyone looks at you and goes, wow, look at that. Everyone can see it. Even though you take a photograph, you can't find it. But everyone can see it. Everyone's impressed. And your performance level goes up thousands of %. So in everything you do, even going to work, you find you're doing things way ahead of expectation. And so the bright, sparkly person that turns up at work and impresses everybody and gets everything done in such a short time, and then wanders off with a smile on the face, it's really important in your life. We're now getting to the real professional stuff that is actually available to you. There's no mystery. It's you're walking around, you're seeing, you're feeling, you're visiting, you're up in a plane, you're skiing down the Alps, you're doing all the things that you thought you couldn't do. And what happens? All of a sudden you look in the mirror and you're glowing. And you're glowing because you're visiting everything you could possibly imagine to be the most perfect thing for you every minute of your life. So the excitement just blossoms and there's no rules. And nobody tells you what to do or what to look at or how to feel, because it's your experience. And you do it with your eyes wide open. And because you've progressed from when you were 6 or 7 at school, heading off to the beach while, and having the teacher go and smack on the desk to wake you up, you've improved so that you're present here and you're present there. And that's why the sparkles start, to keep this body totally alive, totally vibrant, so you can enjoy both things. And you can be digging a hole and be as happy as anything, because you're not really totally focused on the hole. And you'll find that even what is said to you about you must be present to be safe, particularly if you're using tools, you'll find that doesn't apply, because there's a part of you that knows all that backwards. Just like if you're driving your car and you're drifting off, you know you're driving perfectly. You get to the other end and you think, wow, that only took 5 minutes. I've been driving for 2 hours. Can't remember a bit of it. But you did a perfect job, and you got there and you enjoyed every moment. And you were connected to friends and family and music and all sorts of things. And the music in your being is so elegant that it starts as soon as you kick that engine off. And it's really going for it. And it's making you something that you've never been before. Way beyond any expectation. Way beyond any energy field. Way beyond any process. Because you've got your engine running. As soon as someone tries to explain what that is, waste of time. Because it consists of multi-billions of moving parts. Smaller than atoms. And they're in everything. And they're mischievous and you can never catch them. So to try and capture it all, waste of time. But start it, you can easily start it. You can flick your finger and start it. Whoa, there it goes. And it kickstarts everybody around you. And a little bit of movement, and expect it to keep going. And there it is. It's running. And it's running because it wants to. It's taken a long time to get us to the point where we could slow that engine to a stop. Forget it. Just flick all that stuff away. Go, well, that was a waste of 50 years. Just to calm it down, wow, real waste. Because you don't need to calm it down. It's got to be really flying all the time. So no exercises apart from making yourself be everywhere, enjoy everything, daydream with your eyes wide open, feel what you're not supposed to feel, switch everything on your body and check that it's working. Feel the senses and go, oh, that works. Yeah, that works good too. And you can do that. You're allowed to. It's your life. So what we're going to do from here on is attempt to set ourselves up so that we can get more than one person talking here. And we've got a new microphone coming. We've got to work with the synchronizing of the sound and the picture. And you can look forward to us having conversations with one another, either on camera or off camera. We've got a little bit of work to do to increase this experience for everyone. And we're going to start talking about anything and everything to do with the magic of life. The experiences people have, the crazy things that happen. All at a level where we can start to move that field between us that enhances our presence on Earth. So as we start to move that field, everybody's engine will stay running all the time. And the movement will start to gather momentum. And you'll have bright-eyed people walking to work everywhere. And you won't sit on the train and watch the top of people's heads while you'll see their eyes. You'll see the beauty in everybody's face. And the glow that we've sort of lost for a while. But you see a young, vibrant athlete, they glow. You don't need to be an athlete. This is our real life. And it doesn't matter what age you are, you're going to get older. And you're going to get better at everything. And the format of your whole being will change because its main source has no limitation at all. Not one little bit. And we'll prove that. On the other hand, we've been experimenting with a lot of things, and we've made a couple of discoveries that were instigated by the scientific work of Kesh Spaceship Institute. And in that, we've managed to apply one of the medical things, which is a medical wand, to increase our effect on one another. Not our effect of our emotions or of anything, but our effect in as much as we can amplify the signals that have been depleted in another person. And then they can accept them direct through the wand if they wish. And it's just nano-coated, but it's a discovery of science that we're working with, and we've got a few little differences that we've applied. Each person has their own wand with a little difference, and they all have different experiences. And we've found once again that there's never one the same. Never one application the same. And we've got stories of, a couple of stories now of cars not working and then all of a sudden they work. Of the intention of assisting someone in finding their own source of whatever they need keeps appearing. It's one of those things where you somehow feel a person's field and you enhance it so that they can handle everything themselves. So we're working on a lot of things there, and we're mad scientists actually. We produce steam and all sorts of things and some terrible smells. But we're having a lot of fun, and where it goes, nobody knows. But at least there's a possibility of everything new coming into our lives so that we can discover that we actually know more than what's been delivered to us. And we're starting to discover that each one of us know more than the information that was given to us. So it's just like a scientific suggestion that's turned out to be a real lot of fun. And I think we're going to be helping a lot of people. But we need to be able to talk about lots of things that are personal experiences for each person. So that's why we're going to discover a way to synchronize all this so that it ends up on the same page that you're looking at. Apart from that, we've established a bit of a process, I suppose, where we can start to bring all our ideas together to encourage everyone working in a way that they can get income because we take the load off the person. I think I spoke about that before. And we're about to see if we can get it all working on the basis of us being like the Amazon of marketing. And as we do that, we'll probably use Amazon because we're pretty closely tied with them in our websites and our web development. And in fact, we're actually, I forgot about that, we're actually registered developers. And this all came because we needed to do the sort of thing we're doing now, to assist in any way and take the load off people, and to make sure that because the web was available, it wasn't smothered up by developers. So we're web developers, and we're pretty good at it. We can also do a lot of other things, but this is just taking us into areas to show you that if there's a blockage of any sort, we just do a tiny bit of digging around, and all of a sudden we realise we know more about it than the people who are locking it down. And so we have access to the people out there, and we're not relying on anybody else to make it work. So as we move on, we expect nothing. But I really want you all to expect everything from your own source and from everything else that's in the world that has not been used yet. And if you feel the energies, you know it's not been used yet. And it's the sparkles, the happiness, the magic of life, visiting of anything you want, daydreaming with a smile on your face, and generally being a mystery. So that's all for now. Look forward to talking to you again next week. And remember, perfect life, perfect health, and a magic future. This is our offering every day. Thank you.